Couldn't see them the other night. Their skin can change colors.
What the hell you got on your head? I knew it. All along, I knew it. You're listening to the aliens. High speed nonsense. I'm going back to Cabela's. Get me a 1911. Ugh. Aliens. Alien gear, holsters, high speed, drawing. I gotta do the bill drill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or whatever. It was like 7 yards. Shit.
The aliens are here, and today we're talking about the alien gear holsters rapid fire duty holster.
Start over, it's a rapid force. It's on the holster.
No, I need to say it right. I cannot say it wrong.
You did say it right.
I said it wrong in the other video, he left it in.
The aliens are here, and today we're talking about the alien gear holsters rapid force duty holster.
I'll be honest, when I first got this, I was really hesitant. Just being closed-minded, coming from the world that I lived in and living in habits. I come from the Surefire and the Safariland world. I didn't want to try it, frankly, but gave it a shot, ran it for a couple months. This thing is actually really awesome. I was shocked. I actually really like this holster a lot. It's got a ton of features. My favorite thing about this is that it feels super sturdy. This material is super thick, it's strong, you can stand on it, it doesn't bend or break. Oh, you bitch. But another feature that's super cool in this holster is the light bearing options.
Yeah, so that is one of the things that I really do like about this. Let me get this thing off real quick. Oh, you go right there, man. One of the things I really appreciate about this holster is that they made the light bearing option, and the light area itself is nice and wide. That's gonna accommodate for a lot of different light options. You don't have to worry about picking and choosing like, oh, well, I have a Surefire on this, but I have a Streamlight on this one, and like, oh, now I need a holster for that and this, and you don't have to really worry about that with this holster specifically, so that is a super nice functional bit to it.
Just talking about that, if you've got 4 pistols and you want to put lights on all of them because you don't want to have to swap out that light, you buy Surefires, that's $1,200 in lights just to fit the same holster. That can get pretty frustrating, so having that feature is super nice. Another thing about that is that it's open-ended, so there's no cap on here or plug, which means if you get dirt, debris, rocks, anything inside the holster while you're running drills, you don't have to worry about it getting stuck in there and the pistol not re-indexing, it'll fall at the front. Another thing that's also cool is that you don't have to run a light as well. You can also just run bare pistol, which is super nice. So another feature that I really like about this holster is the retention system. This is a level 3 retention holster, so you do have to activate one part here for the hood and one part here to release the gun. It just goes really nice. It's very intuitive. Your thumb just naturally finds it. Talking about how the retention system works, that's your level 3. Then you have your thumb, that's level 2, and you're out. Also, one thing that I found is if you spend enough time training, you can actually jam your thumb in between the two and get both of them at the same time. Super smooth draw, actually comes out really easily. My biggest concern was having to retrain my draw, but this is actually really intuitive. Your thumb naturally finds the retention system and the retention lock and it just comes right out. Really enjoyed it.
It's almost like a clean booger pick, you know? Like, you push down and then just swipe that way.
What?
Yeah, this retention system is super nice. Also, another thing that's really cool about the retention system, or more specifically the hood, is that it's extended. So the nice thing about that is you can run a closed emitter optic and it will fit inside this hood. That's super cool if you're running like a Aimpoint Acro or a Swamp Fox Kraken or something like that. Closed emitter, Holosun has those closed emitter optics that are a little bit bigger, and so sometimes they don't fit inside the hood on the holster. But this one has an extended hood, which is really nice. Even if you don't need it, it just gives you that extra clearance. That way you're not trying to jam something that's form-fitted onto the optic. It's got some space there.
Another thing that I actually didn't know at first, but is kind of nice, is that, so you actually have a 17 and I have a 19. The 19 fits just fine in the 17.
Oh yeah!
I'm not putting that.
In the 17. So it does have a little bit more space on the back strap.
Back plate.
It does fit, it does lock in, and it has pretty much the same amount of retention wiggle that it would normally on the one that's purpose built for $19. Obviously you can't go the other way just because this one is shorter on the muzzle side of things, but yeah, kind of a nice little feature. So that way if you want to run the 17 and then you have like a 17 and a 19, then you have a holster for both, which is great.
Open front, I know we talked about that with the light, but also with the barrel. So I do have a threaded barrel on my gun and it comes right through, no issues. I was hoping that that wouldn't be an issue and it's not. So I get to keep my threaded barrel on there without any problems, because I know that some holsters will have like a plug or they're closed front where they're pinched off. And you can't run a threaded barrel. There's a threaded barrel specific one.
Yeah.
They kind of just give you that option off the rip, which is super cool. Even the QLS fork thing, I did not know about it, but apparently Alien Gear does have an adapter to run the QLS fork. I saw that initially, I was kind of bummed. I didn't want to have to take apart my belt and swap the actual belt adapter, which I ended up doing anyways. Surprisingly, the one that comes from Alien Gear is really nice. I didn't have any problems with it, didn't think it was any bit of an issue. The only thing I kind of wished was that it sat a little bit lower. With the pistol on my hip, it does ride a little bit high. The pistol grip does sit above the belt, which can create problems when you're trying to draw and you're wearing armor or anything like that. There's a little bit of a clearance issue. I do like having my pistol a little bit lower, but overall, not that bad, but you still have the option to swap to a QLS fork if you want to, and that adapter is available. I just haven't made the switch, didn't really feel the need to, but it's a nice option to have.
Well, and that brings up another really good point is options. So what I really appreciate that they've done with this holster and with a lot of their gear is that it is very adaptable. So there's a lot of different ways you can run it. There's all sorts of different pieces that you can buy either after the fact or it might come with the holster. This tactical tan kit that we got from them came with all sorts of different stuff, which was super nice, right around, I think it was like $300 some for that. Came with a lot of different stuff, so you could run it drop leg, you could run it higher up on your belt, you could, you know, adapt it to the QLS system, so that way you can kind of have it at that mid-ride level. You can actually also change this to a level 2 retention instead of a level 3. So that way, if you don't need that level 3 retention, but you still want some, then you can just downgrade it to that level 2, which is super cool. So the fact that they give you options is kind of another thing that's just, you know, a lot of companies don't do. You buy something and that's the way you have to run it, and there is no interchangeability of things that you could have.
Yeah.
And the only way you're gonna have that with a lot of other brands is if you modify it yourself, which might ruin the integrity of it or the functionality of it overall.
Yeah, no, definitely. I really do like this holster. The one thing that I would hope to see in the future from Alien Gear is a Cordura wrapped one. This plastic, don't get me wrong, the Kydex isn't bad or anything like that, but I do like having Cordura on my holsters. It is a nice option to have. So
That's true. Or just maybe come with a little Cordura kit that's from Alien Gear. That would be kind of nice, to where it's like, all right, you don't have to change anything, but you have these pre-cuts. That would be sweet.
Yeah, definitely. Another kind of, it's a really small gripe, but it is a gripe of mine, is that this does kind of make a little bit of noise. So the pistol does kind of move in here, and that can make some noise, especially if you're trying to be quiet. Not that all holsters are quiet, but it's just this one has a little bit more noise than I would like. However, I don't really find it to be an issue. It's just something that I noticed. Another thing that I noticed about this holster is the footprint. It is a little bit larger. So if you're trying to run a slim, low profile kit, this may not be your choice, but that's up to the user. This is a little bulky. This holster kind of caters to like the more law enforcement mill side. I don't really see a need for a level 3 holster, especially on the civilian level. I can totally understand it, but that's a lot of retention. I mean, you're talking about having 2 active methods of retention on the handgun just to get it out. It's a lot. I can understand why some people like it or some people don't.
Yeah.
But I think this caters a little bit more to the LE mill side. That being said though, the retention system's solid. I mean, I've yanked on this thing. I've had other people yank on it while it's on me, and that pistol's not coming out unless you get to the retention system. So that's super cool. It, like, going back to that whole, like, it's really sturdy and rugged, it's not gonna break. The retention system's strong. I know that there are other companies out there that have retention systems that tend to break over X amount of usage, and they're not cheap. That is something that I feel like this holster kind of goes more towards the LE mill side. However, they are still really, really useful for just everyday use.
So price point wise, these actually do come in at a really nice price point, especially compared to a lot of other level 3 duty holsters. The other thing too is, at least for that price point, so like the holster itself is not too terribly expensive. And then they have all these other attachments that you can get to it, which even with all of those attachments, roughly equal to like the same cost as just the holster from other brands.
Fair.
So you get a lot more bang for your buck, in my opinion.
Like this holster has so many features for the price point that it sits at, that I think that dollar for dollar's sake and value, this holster is a really like one of the best options in the market.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they definitely did something really good with this one. Like I said, is it the end all be all? I don't know, that's kind of up for you to decide, but I'm certainly happy with it. I know you're pretty happy with it.
Yeah. I would put this on like on a scale of 1 to 10, or a scale of 1 to Gucci. I kind of put this at like a, it's pretty Gucci, man.
Well, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please leave those down in the comments. Anything that we might have missed, any questions you might have had about this holster in particular. Also, come say hi. We're a physical location. You can actually come say hi to us. We're not just these entities on the internet. You can actually come say what's up. We also offer a lot of training. So speaking of holsters and, you know, training with your holster, get training, because that's the most important thing. If I don't know how to work this holster, then I guess it doesn't really do me any good. So come say hi, come train with us. He's actually the lead trainer if you didn't know. And we'll leave the training website down at the bottom, so check that out. Like I said, come take a class.
Looking cool is only 90% of it.
It's only 90%. But that other 10% requires quite a bit of, you know, dedication.
Yeah.
So that you can be that cool. We couldn't see them the other night. Their skin can change colors. We couldn't see them the other night. We couldn't see them the other night. Their skin can change colors.
It's really hard.
Oh, my balls are just so big.